All right, guys, what is going on? And tonight I am going to be taking you guys through um, one of my one of my favorite tools. Actually, it takes a lot of the guessing out of what we're trying to do here at Next Level PT. Shout out to Travis for making the shirts. He's got a lot of swag coming down the down the line here, so I'm really excited to get some of that stuff out there to you guys. So the goal here when I come up with these metric calculation forms or whatever is just basically to remove the idea of human error, to remove the emotional side of things. Basically plug in the numbers, you get your numbers, and that's just what you need to get, and that's what you need to do in order to make your practice successful. So without further ado, let's just hop right into this thing. So hopefully you guys can see my screen here. Just for this video's sake, I'm going to kind of blow this thing up a little bit. Let's go to view. Let's do a little zoom action. Let's do the 125 so you guys can see what is going on. So, okay. So for this video's sake, what I did is I think that's good. Yep. So what I did is I already put in some numbers here. We'll get to that a little bit later, payroll, fixed numbers, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to clean it up a little bit to make it look halfway presentable. So let's just say your average reimbursement right now, let's just say is 100 bucks. Okay, it could be more, it could be less, and your no-show cancellation rate is about three. Well, most people have around like 6%. So let's keep it at 6%, and let's just say we want to make some money in the month. We want to make about $10,000 net profit. So we're going to make $10,000 here, and our average length of stay per plan of care, let's just put it at like 12.8. Okay, great. So a couple of numbers I want to point out to you guys: desired profit per month, average length of stay for plan of care, no-show cancellation rate, and the average reimbursement per visit. So when you guys are trying to figure out your break-even points, these are some really important numbers that I would want you guys to know. If I ever said, hey, what's your average reimbursement? What is your desired profit per month? Stuff like that. So why is that important? So let's start with the easy numbers up and through here. Break even point, this is going to be number of patients per day, week, and month. Desired profit, so this is like if we just, let's just put break even, right? So if we're just going to try to break even here, color that in, great. So this is just if we're going to break even, these are our numbers. If we want to get $10,000, these are our numbers based off of these numbers right here. Now, what I want to show you, I always talk about manipulating metrics, and why manipulating metrics is important is because if I come down here, well, let's read the numbers first. Break even, I need to see 13 patients a day. I need to see 69 patients a week, and I need to see 300 patients a month. So we're doing pretty good here, and I just want to take you down here. It's a $30,000 grand total expense. You know, I added some stuff here, and I'll show you how to tweak a lot of that later in a different video. Down low here, it basically shows you what happens if you reduce certain expenses, what happens if you reduce payroll, what happens if you want to pay somebody a little bit more, how many more visits per month you need to see in order for that person. So sometimes, like, you know, you might increase them by like $1 or $2 and think like, oh my God, $1 or $2. And then you realize you don't even need to see any more patients. They're happy. You guys don't even need to work harder. It's a win-win for both people. You know, say if you want to pay your PT an extra like 5K a year, you could put that in there and figure it out. That's a different video. So let's focus on this to start. So break even is 13 patients a day, 69 to 30. Now, if I want to make $10,000 per month, I need to see 18. So I need to see 5 extra patients a day. I need to see 92 patients a week. Okay, so we went up a little bit there. And I need to see about 100 more patients per month to make an extra 10 grand, which makes sense if you really think about it. 300, 400, that's 10. 10 times 100 here equals 10,000. So the math is right. Over here, this is just to show you guys exactly how many patients per hour that you need to see. And let me just see real quick. This doesn't seem right. So let's just do, yeah, that needs to be 12 here. Great. E10. Yeah, just some behind the scenes stuff that you need to see. So really what this breaks down to is one, I do have one here, but this would be like a 1.5 patients per hour is what that does. It just tells you how many patients per hour you could see. Sometimes this might be 2, sometimes this might be 3, depending on how many patients per hour you guys need to see. That'll be in the calculation here. One thing I just want to show you guys is the number 12 here. That means there's 12 hours in a day. Okay, so I have a 60-hour work week and a 40-hour work week. Okay, for these numbers, if you're working 7 to 7, you would want to definitely use these numbers here. And if you are not working 7 to 7, you're doing like more of an 8-hour shift, you would want to come over to this side, and I'll have that all built out for you guys. Okay, still working it on a little bit, but I'll have it built out for you when we're all said and done. How many patients does this clinic need to see per week? Okay, so you guys understand that. Playing around with some numbers here. Let's just say I want to make an extra $15,000. This is going to go up to $450. Okay, now let's just say we manipulate this number and knock that over to 90, and I'm not going to click yet. So 13. Okay, so you reduce your average reimbursement by $90. You just go up to 15. So, an extra $10 reimbursement. I got to see 2 extra patients per day. 2 times 5 days working, that's an extra 10 patients per week in order to get my numbers. And as you can see, some of the other numbers went up. So that's how I manipulate these things. Let's just say if we averaged $110 reimbursement. Okay, come over here. It's $12 per day, 63 per week, 272 per month. So these all numbers went down, and then same thing here. These numbers went down in order to make your 15 grand profit, so on and so forth. Now, let's go back to our original example at $100. So $100, there's our numbers, 13, 69, and 300. So watch what happens when we do an average length of care here at 11, 12, and 13 visits. Well, actually, some people do 10, and we'll go up. So, in order to break even, in order to make $1,500 or $15K a month at an average length of stay, that's like if eval to discharge, what's the average there? Where are you guys averaging length of stay, plan of care? Okay, so let's just do 10 visits. Break even for the week, I'll need to see 6 evals. Break even evals per month, I want to see 30. Desired profit. So if I want to make 15K, I need to see 10 evals for this clinic per week. And if I want to see 15K, I got to average 45 evals here. And one thing I'm going to do over on this side, because this is assuming you could assume that this is even, you just need to see 6 evals total. So, that might be, you need to pump in 8 evals if you have like a 90% show rate. So, that gets a little bit complicated. So let's just say 6 evals. So I'm not going to get into the whole no-show arrival rate for evals. I think that might just complicate things a little bit. If you guys feel like we need to include that, just let me know in the comment section. I could easily add it. It's just adding a calculation here in percentages to get this number up a little bit. But just know that you might have to get 8 leads to get 6 evals if you have a 90% arrival rate. So anywho, now watch what happens if I bump this thing all the way up to an average plan of care of 13. This here is the biggest number when it comes to marketing. Okay, so if you guys don't understand that, if plan of care, length of stay, the higher, the longer they're in your clinic for, okay, the lower you need, the less number of evals you need per week. Okay, so let's just try to, let that sink in for a little bit. The more they're in the clinic for, the longer you keep retention. And I'm not saying prolonging people that don't need visits. I'm just saying preventing drop off, preventing churn rate, preventing people dropping off at visit number 3 or 4. Those post-op surgicals are making a high, they're staying for 30 visits when some people are only there for 3 or 4. So let's just say you're averaging 13. Now watch these numbers shoot down. Okay, so you went from 10, right, which was 6, and then you went to 13 visit plan of care, which is 5 and 7, 23 and 34. So one more time here, for 10, you're going to have 30 and 45. For 13, so 30 and 45, 23 and 34. So almost 7 less evals per month here and 11 less evals down low. And then let's just bump this thing up to a 15 visit plan of care average. You only need to see 4 evals a week here, and then you need to see 20 evals to break even, and then 6 and 30 in order to make 15K profit. So pretty cool. So when you start averaging a little bit more length of stay and increase your retention rate, that'll make you understand that you don't need to see that many evals, right? So for a clinic that needs to see this many evals per week, now let's just say I want to make like, I just want to ball out and make like 30K a month, and I need to see 600 visits here. You could see that my evals and stuff go down 9 and 40. Let's just say my average plan of care is only 12 visits, so then I need 50 evals a month and 11. Now, I understand that some of you guys here, if we come all the way down to this magic number here, some of you guys are averaging like 110,000 payrolls and gross expenses, which is, you know, common across PT world. Now we got different numbers here. Okay, so if you want to make a 30K profit, you got to see 50 visits a day, 253 a week, 110 patients are, 1,100 patients per month. So then if 30K profit, 64, 322, and 1,400. Okay, average length to stay is 15. Like I said, if you want to bump that down to, bump that up a little bit, you get less evals here. Bump it up here, you get more evals that you have to see. And then this is also important here, because even if you want a 30K profit, one thing that really takes a toll here is no-show cancellation rate. So if we bump this thing down to 3%, you know, then I'm getting a little bit closer to my 30K profit. Right now our net is going to be 25,000. And then let's just say we bump this thing up to like an 8%. Whoa, shoots it all the way down to 18. So that's why no-show and cancellation rate is a direct correlation to lost revenue. So no-show, cancellation, reschedule, and missed opportunities, okay? So we'll get into a little bit more down low here in the future video. But if this is a tool that you guys want, after watching this video, what I want you guys to do in the comment section is just put hashtag Basecamp so they know that you guys want this, and I'll post it in the group. All right. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, also post in the group. If there's anything you want to see on this metric spreadsheet, let me know, and I'll be glad to get it out to you guys. All right. Peace.